this is how you find the derivative of a function using the chain rule. So when we're doing the chain rule, we're going to write out the chain rule right here for the formula. It's going to be the derivative of f of g is equals to the derivative of g f of g times the derivative of g. So we're going to plug the values on the right side over here into this equation. We're going to assume that this is g right here. The reason why is because it's like on the right and it's a big equation here, it's being raised. Not all the time is it going to work like this, but the reason why I want to isolate, even though like technically this whole thing is g, because it does say g of x equal to e, the x just, it's specifying this part of the x, and this is where it is. And so we're going to separate it, and you'll see why I'm doing it. So when we plug in the values to the equation, we're just going to focus on the right side. We're going to ignore the left for now, right? So when we're taking the derivative of g f of g, it's just going to be e to the g. Technically, it'd be just this equation over here, and then we take the derivative of it later. But if you look, we have to take the derivative on the other side as well. And we want to take the derivative of x in specific. So we're choosing the values that are corresponding to x on this side. And so when we take the derivative of x, you'll get the value of 6x to the 5 minus 7. And then here, you're going to plug x into g, and you're going to get e to this times this. So the reason why the derivative of x to the 6 minus 7x is equals to, I'll change this, equals 6x to the 5 is because we're using the rule where basically you multiply the x by your power, and then you subtract the power by 1. So in this example, right, 1x becomes 6x to the 5th. If it was something like x to the 7th, then we'd have 7x to the 6th. If it was something like x to the 4th, we'd have 4x to the 3rd. And then the 7, the x goes away because we're using the same concept. So if we had something like negative 6x, it would just become negative 6. If we had something like negative 9x, it would become negative 9. And on this side, we have to plug in for g on the top. We can't just leave it an isolated variable. So now that we have this equation here, we can distribute this into this. So we're going to distribute e to the x 6th minus 7x into the 6x and into the negative 7. And when you distribute it into the 6x, it becomes 6e x to the 6 minus 7x. And then here, you don't distribute it into the x 5th. Okay, you only distribute it into the 6x. You cube the x 5th, right? And then you subtract it by 7e x 6 minus 7x. And this will be your final answer. This is the slope, or the derivative.